French President Emmanuel Macron will make a state visit to Germany this Sunday, the first trip of its kind in 24 years. Security and the economy topped a high-level meeting agenda between Russian and Belarusian leaders.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's party launches European election campaign.
The International Court of Justice ruled that Israel should halt its offensive in Rafah. Leading the court hearing, Judge Nawaf Salem quoted the UN, who underscored the humanitarian risk of a military offensive in Rafah. 800,000 Palestinians are displaced there, and the judge cited them as being at immediate risk. While Israel is unlikely to comply with the order, it will increase the pressure on the increasingly isolated country. Criticism of Israel's conduct in the war in Gaza has been growing, even from its closest ally, the United States. The court does not have a police force to enforce its orders, but the ruling is a blow to Israel's international standing. The case was brought to the International Court of Justice by South Africa as an emergency measure. It's part of a larger case South Africa took to the court concerning Israel's actions in Gaza.
Despite mass opposition from pro-Serb protesters, the UN approved its divisive Srebrenica resolution on Thursday. Here, protesters shout betrayal. They think the resolution, which will mark the 11th of July as an annual commemoration day of the 1995 genocide of Srebrenica, will portray them as genocidal.
Pogrešno su radili oni koji su ovo osmislili. Sve su pravili samo da bi podele bile još veće I da bi unizili Srbiju. I želim se zahvalim narodu.
Meanwhile, France has called for reconciliation between Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Western Balkans.
La France appelle les responsables politiques des pays de cette région à être à la hauteur de cette exigence. Il nous appartient de penser à l'avenir en faisant de la création de la Journée internationale de réflexion et de commémoration du génocide de Srebrenica une occasion de travailler à la réconciliation des mémoires sur la base du respect et de la solidarité envers toutes les victimes.
The UN resolution dubs the 11th of July the International Day of Reflection and Commemoration of the 1995 genocide of Srebrenica. The resolution was presented by Germany and Rwanda. The 1995 killings were a bloody climax of Bosnia's 1992-95 war, which came after the breakup of Yugoslavia.
Security and the economy have topped a high-level meeting agenda between Russian and Belarusian leaders. Russian President Vladimir Putin travelled west for 2 days to meet his ally, the Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. Putin, hot off the heels of his 5th presidential win, was welcomed at the Independent Palace in Minsk with fanfare.
У нас всегда две части – вопросы безопасности и экономики. Всегда мы вопросы экономические откладывали для рассмотрения нашими правительствами. Но сегодня как раз повод и услышать то, что уже сделано в связи с нашими поручениями. И 1,5-2 вопроса, которые надо было бы нам решить. Мы также специалистов послушаем, они нам доложат.
Belarus is just one pit stop on the Russian leader's international tour to shore up political relationships.
French President Emmanuel Macron will make a state visit to Germany this Sunday, the first trip of its kind for a French president in 24 years. And although Macron visits Berlin regularly to meet with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, a state visit can only be extended by Germany's head of state, who is the president, Frank-Walter Steinmeier. The goal of this visit is to strengthen the bond of the Franco-German relations.
Cette visite d'État vient à un moment moment crucial pour le couple franco-allemand, mais pas seulement, aussi pour l'Europe, à 2 semaines des élections européennes. Donc l'idée, c'est vraiment de converger, de trouver des points de convergence entre la France et l'Allemagne sur des sujets d'avenir comme la technologie, comme l'innovation, comme l'intelligence artificielle. Et pendant la visite d'État, il y aura d'autres sujets aussi qui sont très importants, comme la démocratie.
The two presidents are going to celebrate the 75 years of the German Constitution. The state visit will be followed by a Franco-German Council of Ministers alongside Chancellor Scholz. And it's a state visit that's seen in quite a positive light by some of the Berliners that we talked to.
Ja, ich bin sehr in favor of Macron. Ich mag ihn sehr gerne, ich mag auch seine Politik. Das Einzige, was ich nicht will, das ist, dass er in der Ukraine die Lufthoheit mitverteidigen will oder also Bodentruppen schickt. Den blöden Krieg sollten wir beenden.
Ich finde, dass, wenn das ein Staatsbesuch ist, um Stärkung von Europa voranzutreiben, finde ich das super.
Emmanuel Macron originally planned to visit Germany in July last year, but then had to cancel last minute due to riots in France.
The visit comes at a tense time for both European countries, with polls suggesting that Eurosceptic parties could make significant gains in the upcoming EU elections. Both countries will be focused at presenting a united European front during the visit. Liv Stroud in Berlin for Euronews.
Olaf Scholz welcomed Portugal's new Prime Minister Luis Montenegro to Berlin with a military parade before they sat down for talks. Afterwards, Scholz joined in the call of Europe's leftist parties that all mainstream politicians must refuse to cooperate with the far right. And he said the next European Commission must not rely on the support of a parliamentary majority, which itself has to rely on the support of far-right extremists. Across the EU, the far right are expected to make big gains in the elections.
An MEP candidate has gone on trial for assaulting 2 neo-Nazis. Ilaria Salis will stand trial in Budapest after allegedly attacking 2 participants in a neo-Nazi march. She will also be running in the upcoming European elections in June. Salis faces 3 counts of attempted assault and is accused of being involved in an extreme left-wing criminal organisation following a counter-protest against a neo-Nazi rally in Budapest. Salis's family and her defence team claim the trial is politically motivated to criminalise anti-fascism.
Most várjuk meg a 9-től, hogy lesz-e belőle EP képviselő. Mert ha megválasztják, listavezető egy kisebbik jelölőszervezetnél, akkor fel kell függeszteni ezt az eljárást, és az ügyvédek is foglalkozhatnak más üggyel.
She is running as a candidate in the European elections for the Italian Alliance Green Left coalition. If elected, she would gain parliamentary immunity and be freed.
Ivan, Javier, Carlos and Sarah attend the launch of the PSOE campaign for the European elections in Valencia. They are an example of young people who have found inspiration in Pedro Sanchez's party.
Igualdad, feminismo, derechos de personas trans, LGTB y una forma de hacer un frente amplio contra la extrema derecha y la derecha extrema.
The Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, which Sanchez has led since 2018, is turning to TikTok as a campaign tool, following the success of a viral meme.
Bueno, una canción de Rafael Acarrá que se hizo viral y justo coincidió con los 5 días de reflexión de Pedro y la gente se animó para cantársela y que se quedara.
The party is hoping to repeat the success of their previous general elections.
El PSOE está aglutinando a mucho joven porque al final sí, el mensaje es diverso, ¿no? Y es un poco al final la imagen de la Europa que queremos, ¿no? Una Europa diversa, una Europa tolerante.
Sanchez's Socialist Party has embraced all flags, the rainbow flag, the Spanish flag, and more recently the Palestinian flag. They broadly define themselves as left-leaning.
Este modelo que estamos poniendo en marcha desde hace 6 años a esta parte es un modelo de éxito que refuta todos los bulos y desinformación de la derecha y la ultraderecha.
El Partido Socialista no podía empezar la campaña electoral con mayor energía. La polémica entre Milei y Pedro Sánchez ha logrado movilizar de nuevo a su electorado y a colocar al PSOE como el muro de contención contra la extrema derecha en Europa. Además, las encuestas le dan al PSOE en este momento una dulce noticia. Después de varias semanas y días en las que el Partido Popular doblaba escaños y el PSOE quedaba segundo en las elecciones, los últimos sondeos apuntan incluso a que el Partido Socialista podría volver a ganar las elecciones europeas. En Valencia, Jaime Velázquez, Euronews.
4 people were killed and several more were seriously injured on Thursday when a building collapsed on the island of Mallorca. At least 16 people were also injured in the incident and are being treated in hospital. The accident occurred in the city of Palma de Mallorca, very popular with tourists. Local media reports say the building housed a restaurant called Medusa Beach Club. No cause has been given for the collapse of the building, and emergency services are continuing to search the site and attend the wounded. A long-delayed and complex project to bring a subway line under ancient Roman ruins and through Rome's historic centre has entered a crucial phase. The nearly €3 billion project is considered one of the most complicated of its kind in the world. The Metro C subway line has been in development for 2 decades, but slowed by bureaucratic and funding delays. When completed, the line will run under some of the world's most important cultural heritage sites.